to Dracham Anderson and Tyrick Mitchell making up the defence. The midfield of the debuting Czech Decore, along with Jeffrey Schlupp, Eberechi Eze, Wilfried Zaha and Jordan Ayew, with Odsonne Edouard leading the line for the Eagles. And it's a bench of Johnson, Ward, Richards, Riederwald, Milivojevic, Hughes, Ebuewe, Mateta and Plange for the hosts. And the visitors Arsenal go with Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a defence of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes and Alexander Zinchenko. A midfield of Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka and Martin Odegaard, who is now Arsenal's full-time captain following the departure of Alex Lacazette. And leading the line is Gabriel Jesus, Lacazette's replacement, along with Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli. The bench for Arsenal is Turner, Cedric, Holding, Tierney, Elneny, Lokonga, Nelson, Pepe and Nketiah. So 9 subs apiece today, and we are back to the 5 allowed to be used in 3 separate intervals. The rule brought back in, of course, originally a COVID rule and now returning to help teams cope with the pressure of a mid-season World Cup. Totally unprecedented scenes this season, and we'll see how it affects both sides. As I say, both for Arsenal today. William Saliba finally makes his competitive bow for Arsenal, having signed a few years ago and spent time out on loan. But a concern as to whether the man once dubbed the Mbappe of defenders would ever turn out in an Arsenal shirt, but here he is today in their new pink away strip. He joins debuting Alexander Zinchenko in the defence, one of 2 arrivals from Manchester City this summer, Mikel Arteta's former side. Of course, where he was assistant to Pep Guardiola, looking to implement some of the things that he's learned in his time there. And of course the other one is Gabriel Jesus, leading the line for the Gunners, who's been on fire in pre-season. He's made his way to being the most selected player in Fantasy Premier League history at the start of the season. 73% or so of managers leading the line with Gabriel Jesus, as do Arsenal today. The only debutant for the hosts is Czech Decore, who becomes one of their most expensive signings ever, having arrived for about £21 million from the French League this summer. And going out of the door for Crystal Palace within the last hour is the man who remains their record signing. Christian Benteke is moving to the MLS with DC United after what's fair to say has been a mixed bag for him of a Premier League career. Once a prolific goalscorer with Aston Villa, didn't quite work out for him at Anfield. He came to Crystal Palace, where still bad goals on occasion, and he's put a few past Arsenal as well in his career. No more from him as he heads out to the MLS, but Crystal Palace won't be too concerned about their recent record against the Gunners. Arsenal have won only one of 8 recent meetings between the two sides, and last time they were here at Selhurst Park it was a 3-0 victory. Some humiliation put on the Gunners by an Arsenal legend in his own right, Patrick Vieira, the Crystal Palace boss, implementing his tactics and outdoing Arsenal on that day. They'll be looking to make it right, Arsenal. It's another former Gunners midfielder in the opposite dugout, of course, Mikel Arteta. Quite reaching the peaks that Patrick Vieira did during his time at Arsenal, of course, in Invincible. And we're about to get things underway as the players take the knee, and the referee blows his whistle. Eberechi Eze stands ready to get us underway here at Selhurst Park. There's the first kick, and we are underway. Eze gives it back to Anderson, to Gehi. Decore gets his first competitive touch as a Crystal Palace player, gives it back to Anderson. Now it's Gehi again. It's going to look long out to the left. Is Zaha running down that flank? He is. He's up against Ben White. Edouard's over there as well, but White is able to just marshal it out of play for an Arsenal throw-in. Of course, Ben White filling in at right back as Tomiyasu is continuing his recovery from injury. Cedric is an option on the bench for the Gunners, but they've opted for Ben White at right back. The man who arrived for £50 million last summer, primarily a centre-back of course, but William Saliba comes into the defence, and all of a sudden it's looking a lot more solid for Arsenal, who haven't kept a clean sheet in 10 Premier League games at the end of last season. The throw-in comes straight back Arsenal's way. Thomas Partey wins it up against Wilfried Zaha. They're struggling to get out here though, Arsenal, with Odegaard. And it falls to Anderson on the halfway line. Palace playing a high line. Anderson gives it to Nathaniel Klein. Gets it up the line to Ayew. Receives it back inside Palace's half. He goes all the way back to Anderson, who's the furthest outfielder back for Palace. Looked like he might just give it square to Gehi, but goes long instead for Tyreek Mitchell out on the left, who's bombed forward. Saka does well to get a foot in. It's behind for a Crystal Palace throw-in. They have it quickly down in play again. Cut out well though by Odegaard, who's doing his defensive duties back there. He gives it to Gabriel Jesus. Odegaard gets it back on the halfway line. He rolls it back to Saliba. A couple more players getting their first competitive touches in the Premier League here for their new sides. And here's another one with Zinchenko. Touches it away from Ayew and then is forced to roll it back to Gabriel. Good pressure from Crystal Palace. Gabriel gives it out to Xhaka, who's come wide on the left on the halfway line. He advances it to Martinelli, who's also forced inside to get away from Klein. Looks a good ball for Odegaard, who actually dummies it to go all the way to Saka on the touchline. Saka gives it to Ben White, who's in an advanced position here. His pass is drilled through the feet of Partey to Zinchenko, who's come high and central. He gives it out to Martinelli on the left. Good link up here with Xhaka. Zinchenko tried to spray one out to Odegaard on the right. It was misplaced, headed by Zaha, but Arsenal keep it alive with Saka here. Back to Ben White. Skips past the challenge and looks to have won a free kick for Arsenal. They get it moving quickly. Here's Odegaard. Tried to slip it into Saka, and a good bit of defending from Gehi there prevents Arsenal from getting in at the byline. Palace try and get out here. Partey's pressing quickly. They try to go down the left, Palace. They've been forced back. Here's Gehi. Gives it to Anderson. Now Nathaniel Klein. The pressure is let up just a little bit for Palace. And now Guaita gets his first touch of the ball. Gives it to tonight's skipper, Gehi. He's bringing it forward out of the Palace box. Tries to clip one to Edouard. It's over his head, just beyond the halfway line into Arsenal territory. Gabriel cuts it out. Here's Zinchenko now, approaching the halfway line himself. Both teams defending with high lines. And Jesus tried to flick a clever touch around the corner for Odegaard. Wins it back as Palace try to get away though. Jesus nutmegs Gehi into the box. Clever footwork. Can he get a shot away? He does. Martinelli! Oh my goodness, he somehow missed it. Should have been a certain goal for Gabriel Martinelli. Arsenal really ought to have the lead here. Brilliant work from Gabriel Jesus. He, I think, nutmegged Gehi to begin with and then skipped away from 2 or 3 challenges. Great fake shot on his left foot. Yep, touches it away from Anderson brilliantly on his left. Just on the stretch a little bit with the shot. Jesus, he poked it at the end of his right boot. It's blocked well by Gehi, who was recovering. And Martinelli had a gaping open goal. And Gabriel Jesus' countryman wasn't able to convert all of his hard work. Really looked easier to score than miss there for Martinelli. He had so much of the goal to aim for on his near post. He tried to roll it across Guaita and all the way across the goal, unfortunately, for Arsenal. Still 0-0 here. 4 minutes gone. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 0. If you're late to join us here on Flash Score, we are bringing you all the Premier League action, live in-app commentary for free this season. And we are starting here at Selhurst Park, the Premier League season opener. Here's Martinelli as he gives it back to Saliba, gets it quickly back. He's come deep into Arsenal's half, but now Ben White has taken it beyond the halfway line and still going until he meets Mitchell. He gives it to Saka on his right. Saka to Partey, exchanges passes well with Saka. He gets to the byline. Can he cut it across? No, Xhaka was there. It was cut out by a Palace defender, only as far as Martinelli on the edge of the box. Clever touch to get away from Eze. Passes it left. Jesus lets it go to Zinchenko and now gets it back. More good work from Arsenal here into the box. It's defended by Palace, thrown away. Only as far as Partey. His header falls to Saliba. And he gives it all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale. Gets his first touch of the ball. He gives it to Gabriel Magalhaes on his left. Gabriel to the halfway line. Gives it back to Saliba, the furthest outfielder back for Arsenal at this point. Still inside their own half. It's only he and Gabriel. And Gabriel's pass now gets it into the feet of Jesus. Martinelli. Xhaka gets it out to Zinchenko, who's come all the way forward to the byline here. Klein is with him though. And Zinchenko in the end just touches it out of play. Slightly nervy start for Zinchenko, I would say, in an Arsenal shirt. He's lost possession a couple of times for the Gunners inside the first 6 minutes here. Was under pressure from Klein there, though. He'd done well to get forward. Clever run. It was picked up by Xhaka. Arsenal are knocking it about really nicely in these early stages. And Arteta might be hoping they can have a goal to show for it sooner than later. Realistically, they should. Martinelli, of course, missing the best chance of the game so far. And now Nathaniel Klein throws it up the line. Palace player went down. Referee says nothing doing, but Palace able to win it back again as the pass inside is loose from Arsenal. Now Zaha looks to give it to Schlupp on the left. Well dealt with by Saliba. And Schlupp runs into the back of him. This one will be a free kick. Goes Arsenal's way. There's Schlupp making a good run down the left. Zaha tried to release him, but William Saliba read that well in his first tough piece of defending to do in an Arsenal shirt. And wins a free kick. Ramsdale takes to Saliba, who now gives it to Gabriel, out to Zinchenko on the left. He's waiting for options. Zinchenko, Partey didn't arrive in time, so he's forced back to Gabriel. Good pressure from Palace once again. Here's Ben White. Arsenal trying to play their way out of this one with Odegaard. And now Partey still in their own half. But Partey sprays it out to Zinchenko, who's crossed the halfway line. Zinchenko looks for Jesus. Tries to nod it behind him to Saka on the edge of the box here. And the flag has gone up for offside against Gabriel Jesus there. Exciting start from this new look Arsenal front three though. Jesus, of course, back to playing in his preferred spot through the middle of the attack, having been forced out to the right in the last year or two for Manchester City. Not that it worked out too badly, of course, back-to-back Premier League winners. Here's Guaita. Goes out left to Mitchell. Good pressure from Saka. Wins it back for Arsenal and keeps it in play as well. Here's Jesus. Rolls it to Xhaka. Will he fancy a shot on the edge of the D? Gives it left to Zinchenko. Zinchenko's shot. Well saved by Guaita. Still in play. And turned away eventually by Klein. Arsenal have a throw in right down in the corner, the left-hand side. Zinchenko takes quickly. Gives it to Xhaka and gets it back. Takes it to the byline. He's around Ayew. Tries to roll it to the edge of the box. Partey shot blocked well, and Palace get it away again. Only as far as Ben White out on the right though. He tried to give it to Saka. Slight miscommunication between the two, and Palace have it clear to the halfway line where Saliba will gobble it up against the chasing Edouard. Dominant from Arsenal in these opening 8 minutes, but they need to turn it into another chance after Martinelli wasted the best one they've had yet. And speaking of wasteful, that's poor from Ben White as he tries to switch, gives it away to Ayew, and Ayew gives it straight back in the Arsenal half. Jesus pops a clever pass into the feet of Martinelli. Saliba to Ben White, who's come into the centre circle here. His pass is beyond Zinchenko. A roll out for a Crystal Palace throw in Arsenal's half. Slight relief of pressure at last for the hosts. And Ben White has given the ball away a couple of times within a minute there. Just need to be a little bit sharper, these Arsenal fullbacks, if they want to continue dominating possession in this game. The throw in from Klein goes back to Anderson. Side to Gehi, and then he gives it out to Mitchell. Gehi gives it back to Anderson again. It's going across what was just momentarily a back three as Klein stayed forward following the throw in. Arsenal get the ball Palace's way again. Gehi sees Martinelli away though, gives it to Guaita. Didn't look too comfortable playing that one, but he does pick out Klein on the right. Odegaard wins it after a good touch from Xhaka. Palace clear again. Scrappy spell here. Now it's out to Zaha on the left, who's just got it inside Arsenal's half. He's trying to burst past Ben White, but the makeshift right back has done really well to keep up with Zaha there and win the ball back for Arsenal. It's the first test of his legs there by Zaha. Now Arsenal tried to play out with Gabriel to Zinchenko on the left. Brings it to the halfway line. Now into the feet of Gabriel Jesus. Checks away from Joachim Anderson cleverly. And now Jesus on the halfway line. Faked the long pass and fizzed it into the feet of Xhaka and got it back instead. Anderson this time wins out against Jesus. Now here's Xhaka, who just for a moment was the furthest man forward for Arsenal there. He gives it into the feet of Odegaard behind him. Odegaard to White and now Saliba. Rolls it to Gabriel on the centre circle. Gabriel exchanges passes with Zinchenko now. Looking for an option, doesn't get one, gives it back to Saliba again. Edouard is pressing. Saliba does well to get it into the feet of Saka out on the right. Odegaard's advancing ahead of him. Mitchell gets a foot in there. Eze. Schlupp. Mitchell gets it up the line. Edouard can't get there. It's behind for an Arsenal throw-in. There's no getting out for Crystal Palace at the moment. They can't hold on to the ball. It's this midfield of Decore and Schlupp. I have to say, I don't think I've seen Decore actually touch the ball yet in this game. The new arrival, £21 million. One of Crystal Palace's most expensive transfers. And here's Gabriel. Swings it out to Saka on the right. Saka back to Ben White. White to Saliba and now to Gabriel. Jack is giving him an option on the halfway line. Gabriel brings it forward himself, gives it to Zinchenko. And he goes back to Gabriel. Gabriel across to Saliba. Inside Arsenal's half here, being pressed by Edouard. It's Gabriel advancing. Zinchenko. Into the feet of Martinelli. He does well to get away from Klein as he runs inside. Looks for a pass, it's cut out, but will that work in Arsenal's favour? No, Jacob Anderson just able to defend in time. As the blocked pass nearly deflected straight into the path of Gabriel Jesus running through on goal. There's Czech Decore putting out a play for a throw, and Arsenal get it moving quickly with Zinchenko to Gabriel, who's well inside the opposition half. Here's Saliba in the centre circle. And just for a moment there, Arsenal had every outfielder in Crystal Palace's half. Saliba and Gabriel have now dropped off to create an option as Ben White tries to get away from Zaha here. And he looks to have won a free kick. Ben White he has. And Zaha's furious, but it looked quite obvious to me that he left a foot in on Ben White there. Should be a good battle down that side between the two. Zaha, who has perhaps been the form player of pre-season in the Premier League. Netted 5 and assisted 3 in Crystal Palace's pre-season, including in their last outing, the 4-2 victory against Montpellier on Saturday. Ball gets away from Partey here. He looked to have held on to Edouard, but the referee says play on. Edouard gives it to Eze on his left. Arsenal have plenty of bodies back, but Eze uses Zaha further on his left. He approaches the edge of the box, tries to put a cross in. Ben White blocks it. In fact, I think it was Saliba who actually got the touch off his face. It's Granit Xhaka, sorry. Got there in the end. Xhaka is down, having taken that ball to the face. There were so many bodies in there defending for Arsenal, it was hard to tell. But as Zaha's tried to cut inside and cross on his right foot, yeah, it's cannoned straight into the face of Granit Xhaka. Xhaka back on his feet though, at least. Not going to require any attention, of course, with the reintroduction of the 5 sub rule. Also might not be too deterred from making a change should anybody be feeling any problems. Of course, El Neni and Lokonga are on the bench as options to replace Granit Xhaka. Still rumoured to be in the market for a new left-sided central midfielder though, Arsenal. Yuri Tielemans of Leicester. It's been a name that's floated around all summer, of course. But they start the season with the midfield they ended it with. Xhaka, Partey and Odegaard. And there's an extra accessory on Martin Odegaard's forearm on this occasion, as he has now taken the captain's armband at Arsenal. Palace have it back in play down their left-hand side. Crunching challenge from Czech Decore. Referee says play on. As Palace advance. It should be clear that wasn't an advantage. That was adjudged to have been a fair challenge by Decore. It's a strong one. Yeah, looks to have won the ball on the replay. Decore. He's gone through Martin Odegaard. Odegaard was straight back up to his feet, in fairness. A meaty but fair challenge from the new man here at Selhurst Park. Long ball runs through to Aaron Ramsdale, who absolutely fizzes a ball quickly out of his arms to Zinchenko on the left. That's what they brought him here for, Aaron Ramsdale, last summer. His distribution. Has it launched an attack for Arsenal? Zinchenko trying to get away from Ayew. It's forced to Gabriel inside Arsenal's half, so perhaps the answer to my question is no, as Saliba now is on the ball. Touches it away from Edouard, and Edouard's gone into the back of his countryman, following the pass from Saliba. Referee says play on as Edouard helps Saliba to his feet. Here's Gabriel bringing it to the halfway line. Zinchenko. Now into the feet of Martinelli. On the left-hand side for Arsenal. He's right on the byline, forced away by Nathaniel Klein again. He's defending well down his right-hand side, Klein. Arsenal try to go long for Saka, and that will run out for a goal kick to Guaita. 16 minutes gone here. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 0. Live here on Flash Score at Selhurst Park. And we'll have plenty of coverage for you throughout the Premier League this season. We'll be bringing you some Championship fixtures, European games, Serie A, La Liga. We will have it covered here on Flash Score as the season goes on. This, of course, the opener in the Premier League. Starting earlier than ever due to the World Cup happening in Qatar, and Zinchenko loses out to Ayew here. Could be an opening for Palace as Eze gives it out to Zaha on the left-hand side. He's right on the edge of the box, Zaha. He's going to try and run at Ben White. He's into the box. Might be looking for a penalty. Doesn't go down. He drills it in, and Xhaka gets it away in the end for Arsenal. Palace finally growing into this game a little bit. Able to hold on to the ball just for a few moments. And this will be what they want, I'm sure. Just to give everyone a feel for it, because as I said, until about 5 minutes ago, the new man, Cheikh Doucouré, I don't think had touched the ball. He's offering for it from Anderson now. He's really well pressed by Odegaard, forced to Klein. And again, eventually Anderson gets it away for Palace. Nodded on by Edouard for Ayew to chase. Arsenal deal with it. His party. Into the feet of Martinelli. Xhaka fakes the long ball, gives it to Zinchenko. Zinchenko tried to give it to Martinelli. And Martinelli lost out to Doucouré there, who's come flying in again. And this time the referee has blown his whistle as Martinelli goes down holding his leg. It was Doucouré and Ayew actually doubled up on Martinelli there to put the sliding challenge in. I don't think there was too much wrong with it personally, but been a slightly unsavoury ending for him, but he is back on his feet and Arsenal have the ball moving again. Here's Odegaard out on the right. Cuts onto that preferred left foot. That's a really clever pass into the feet of Gabriel Jesus in the box. Tries to drill across low and wins a corner for Arsenal. First of the game. 18 minutes gone. It's 0-0 here. In truth, I don't know how Martin Odegaard has pulled that pass off on his left foot. We know he prefers not to use his right. But he has faked the pass backwards and then just cleverly poked it round the corner into the feet of Gabriel. There wasn't a pass on at all. Given Jesus managed to win a corner. Partey, Saliba, Gabriel all lining up. They want a piece of this one as Saka swings it all the way to the back post. Zinchenko heads it back across goal. And it's in for Arsenal! The Gunners have taken the lead! 19 minutes gone, and Gabriel Martinelli has the first goal of this Premier League season. Not the Brazilian that most would have expected to be on the score sheet today for Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus, of course, getting the headlines throughout pre-season. But Gabriel Martinelli is the man who nods in to give Arsenal the lead here. 19 minutes gone at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. And in truth, it's no less than Arsenal deserve for the start they've made here. Saka swings the corner far beyond the huddle of players in the box. You have to wonder if that was something that Arsenal have worked on in the training ground, because Zinchenko finds himself completely unmarked beyond the back post, nods it back into the box. And it's over the usual suspects. Saliba, Partey, Gabriel leaping for it. But it's Gabriel Martinelli at the back post who manages to make it his and bundles it into the net. Arsenal take the lead here at Selhurst Park. Now how can Crystal Palace respond? Zaha on the left. Gave it to Mitchell. Gehi to Guaita, who's pressed well by Arsenal again and forced into an error. Zinchenko will let that run for a throw-in. In fact, Ayew behind him kept it alive. I hadn't seen Ayew there, and I don't think Zinchenko had either, nor would he have let it go. But Arsenal are back in the ball, on the ball, should I say, once again with Martinelli. And He's running with confidence following that headed opener. Exchanging some nice passes. He tries to feed one into the feet of Xhaka. He's playing in much more advanced positions, Xhaka, than we're used to seeing him in, as he's trying to hold off Anderson here on the touchline. Goes down eventually, and he's won a free kick. Granit Xhaka out on the left touchline. Jacob Anderson not too happy about that one, but he had his arms all over the back of Xhaka there. Here's Gabriel Jesus, as Arsenal have the ball rolling again. He pings one out to Bukayo Saka on the right hand side. Saka knocks it against Zaha. Ball fed from Ben White into the feet of Gabriel Jesus. Can he get away from the defenders here? Takes it onto his left foot. Just ends up in the feet of too many bodies, but Partey picks it up. He tries a cross. Jesus is arriving, and he looks to have left a foot in on one of the defenders there. I believe it was Anderson. No malice in it at all, of course, from Gabriel Jesus, who was stretching for the ball, and I think his studs might just have caught Anderson, who goes down. Palace cleared it out for what would have been an Arsenal throw-in, but I believe they're going to get the free kick here instead, as Anderson is hurt in the box. Jesus just checking on him now. Yeah, as we see the replay, the boot doesn't actually go in, it's just the coming together, so Anderson should be absolutely fine there. Just the momentum of Gabriel Jesus that's taken the Danish defender off his feet. We are a quarter of the way through this Premier League opener here on Flash Score. It's Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1 from Selhurst Park. Guaita goes out to the right looking for Ayew in the air. Gabriel does well to challenge him, but Edouard gets the second ball, touches it down to Ayew again on the halfway line out on the right hand side. Gives it a decline. Now Edouard tries to touch it past Partey. Well defended by the Arsenal man. Okay, he gives it out to Mitchell, is Wilfried Zaha battling with Ben White again. And White seems to have his number once again. He got there first, and then Zaha goes through the back of White and brings him down. Arsenal have a free kick, and Wilfried Zaha is getting more and more frustrated at this battle with Ben White and the decisions going the defender's way. I daren't lip read what Wilfried Zaha is shouting at today's referee. Aaron Ramsdale will take the free kick down in the right hand corner for Arsenal. Goes long towards Gabriel Jesus. Cow in the air by Gehi, and then Eze gets the second ball against Odegaard for Palace. Schlupp. Back to Gehi, and now Guaita. Goes out to the right for Ayew. Chests it down really well as he plucks it out of the air on the halfway line. Gets away from Zinchenko, but is forced backwards to Anderson. Anderson goes long for Zaha. This one might land over the head of Ben White, and it does. Zaha touches it down in the corner. Wants to get it onto his right foot. Crosses looking for Edouard on the penalty spot. Defended well by Arsenal. Here's Partey going for the second ball. Odegaard nods it back into danger. And it's a scissor kick from Zinchenko to finally get it away for Arsenal. Gehi gets it forward again, winning the ball against Jesus in the air. Palace attack, but somebody stayed down forward. It looks like Ayew has stayed down. They'll continue though, it's not a head injury. Decore gives it to Klein, now Eze. Eventually Palace do just roll the ball out so that their man can receive some treatment. 24 minutes gone here, and it's Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1 from Selhurst Park. This the only bit of Premier League action tonight, of course. The Friday night season opener, becoming a tradition in the Premier League. Not one that Arsenal have had too much luck with recently. Well, not on season openers in general. Of course, last year defeated by newly promoted Brentford in a nightmare start for the Gunners, which has been documented by Amazon's cameras for all or nothing, of course. Here's Partey. Looked a poor pass, but Klein fails to cut it out. In fact, sorry, that's Ayew is just back up from his injury. That might be why he didn't fancy stretching for that one. And Arsenal remain in possession with Zinchenko. Rolls it to Gabriel. Now Saliba. Into the feet of Jesus, who's come deep for the ball inside Arsenal's half. He turns away from two challenges, though, and tries to get it forward. Cut out by Klein, who heads it through to Guaita. Jesus can't believe he hasn't got a free kick there, as Drackham Anderson followed him all the way to the halfway line and put a foot in him on him there. Now here goes Saka, with Zaha over the top of him. Saka goes to ground, but gets back up and carries on with the ball. Here's Odegaard. In the feet of Martinelli, who's drifted central to the edge of the D. Odegaard picks it up as Martinelli is challenged. Now is Xhaka. Uses Zinchenko on the overlap. He crosses looking for Martinelli. Jesus isn't involved in the box at all here. I'm not sure if he's still feeling that knock from Anderson. Martinelli had taken up a position as the central striker there. He's able to win Arsenal another corner. Now will Martinelli fancy this one again? In fact, he's going to take this one, Gabriel Martinelli. It's going to be another in-swinger, this time from the left on his right foot. Of course, Bukayo Saka, the left footer, brought the right-footed corner in last, or right-sided corner, sorry, in last time. Martinelli puts it close to the goalkeeper this time. Guaita punches away. Xhaka keeps it alive for Arsenal as he knocks it back out to Martinelli. Just almost lost control of the ball there against Ayew. Odegaard looks for a deep ball into the box where Gabriel has stayed. Dealt with by Mitchell. Away to the right. Ben White does well to get a touch in there against Zaha. And Palace have a throw-in. Thrown up the line by Crystal Palace. Cut out easily though by Saliba against Zaha. He's really cutting a frustrated figure now. Saliba pressed well by Edouard, forced back to Ramsdale. And neither he certainly doesn't mind it to his feet though. Gabriel to Saliba. Just knocking it around the back here, Arsenal. No need for them to rush this one forward. Palace are finally starting to press and making it all good for them as Partey returns a pass to Xhaka. Now all the way back to Ramsdale again. Dodgy touch! Oh dearie me, that nearly ended in a goal for Palace from nothing. Arsenal just holding on to the ball for far too long back here and getting themselves in trouble, and now here's Doucouré who's won it. Gives it to Eze on the right, he's in the box, he clips one to the back post. Zaha volleyed, blocked by Ben White. Crystal Palace have a corner. And Aaron Ramsdale has nearly gifted Crystal Palace one there. He's taken a poor first touch as it was rolled back to him, just slipped ever slightly I think, and then his clearance was straight into Edouard who was on rushing, could have ended up anywhere. Fortunately for Arsenal, landed at the feet of Gabriel Magalhaes, but then his cleared pass wasn't the best either as Crystal Palace continued to press with Ayew. Kept the danger alive. There's no Palace corner here though. It's actually going to be an Arsenal free kick. I think the flag might have gone up against somebody in the box there. And Arsenal. Ramsdale this time, a much more assured kick, looking out for Gabriel Martinelli on the left. He's not able to win it in the air though, and Palace have a throw-in. Nathaniel Klein will take once again. Goes up the line on this right-hand side. Edouard wins in the air on the halfway line against Zinchenko. Fairly isolated at times, Edouard up there. Jordan Ayew is doing his defensive duties more so than anything as part of this attack. Now here's Eze pressing Saliba. Saliba does well to deal with it once again, gets round him, clears long looking for Saka, won't quite run for him though as Mitchell cuts it out. Ball forward once again from Palace, cut out by Saliba. And Ramsdale, well, he's taking a risk again as he tries to touch it around one Palace attacker and another one's there, and he's forced into an awkward pass for Gabriel. He's certainly not afraid to take a risk, Aaron Ramsdale, even after the previous one. And I don't think he'll have too many stern words coming from Arteta about that. I think that is what he's here to do. The playmaking goalkeeper becoming more and more of a role in today's game. Let's check Doucouré. Up to the left for Palace. Mitchell exchanges passes with Schlupp. Now, Ayu's trying to get away from the pressure of Zinchenko. Does well to hold on to the ball as he turns away from the defender, but then sprays the pass all the way out to Gehi, who's the furthest man back for Palace. And Jesus was there too. It was a slightly risky ball, but it worked out as Eze is now on the ball. Still inside Crystal Palace's half, and in fact on the edge of their own box as Anderson exchanges passes with Gehi once again. Anderson on the ball once more inside his own half. Mitchell into the feet of Schlupp, pressed by Martinelli. It looks as though Martinelli and Jesus have just switched roles for a moment. Jesus is out on the left hand side and Martinelli's running through the centre. Odegaard, in fact, is higher than Saka. In fact, I think Arsenal might have just switched into a 3-5-2 of sorts. Jesus and Martinelli as the two strikers, Odegaard behind. The three centre-halves. Here's one of them, Ben White. Zaha tries to run at him. Cuts onto his left foot well. And it's Saka who's back there defending and who's out for a throw-in. Certainly playing more defensively now, Saka. I think it is a 3-5-2 being deployed by Arsenal for the time being. And the throw-in from Mitchell not returned effectively by Schlupp, and Arsenal once again can release some pressure with a throw-in of their own. Ben White will take. Launches it to the halfway line. To the feet of Jesus. Defended by Palace. Eze. Decore. Decore on the stretch gets it back to Eze, but Xhaka cuts it out. Gabriel cleverly turns away from Edouard. Really intense pressure from Crystal Palace, and Arsenal have looked to slip up a couple of times, but now here's Martinelli trying to slip one to the feet of Jesus. Odegaard loses out. Jesus gets it back. Saka inside the Crystal Palace box. Gives it to Jesus. He tried to return it to Saka first time. Slight miscommunication between the two, I think, and Jesus in the end commits a foul. Crystal Palace have the free kick inside their own box now. Just seeing replay now of Gabriel Martinelli's opener here. Of course, the assist coming from Zinchenko as he nodded the corner back down. Back in play as Partey wins another ball in the midfield. So crucial to this new Arsenal setup at the base of the midfield. Allows Xhaka and Odegaard to play in advanced positions. And he has the ball again, gives it to Saliba, then to Gabriel. Or Zinchenko. Back to Gabriel again inside Arsenal's half. Zinchenko gives it to Xhaka. Xhaka into the feet of Martinelli. Trying to wriggle away from Anderson, who's not afraid to step high up, follow an attacker to get a footing on them. And it's worked out once again. Here he is on the ball. Looks for another long one to Zaha through the middle. Dealt with there by Saliba. Gabriel's touch to Zinchenko. I think the Palace players appealing for handball against Gabriel. And here they are again with Ayew. Arsenal really making life difficult for themselves when they have it back there. Taking far too long to move the ball along. We'll just see a replay of this one now. The ball does strike Gabriel's hand on the way out of the sky. And Edouard, who's closest to it, immediately appeals for a penalty. As do all the fans behind that goal. I don't think it's going to be pulled back on a VAR review though. No, we are back underway. A moment of panic for Arsenal there though, for sure. It definitely did strike Gabriel's hand on the way out of the sky, but judged not to have been intentional and his hand not in an unnatural position. 10 minutes remain here at Selhurst Park in this first half, where it's Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. This Premier League season opener live on Flash Score. Here's Zinchenko into the feet of Jesus, who rolls it back to Gabriel. Now Saliba. Saliba into the feet of Odegaard, still inside Arsenal's half. just crosses the halfway line. Palace win it back, but Partey is immediately there again. It's been seriously impressive today as the defensive midfielder. Martinelli whips it towards the penalty spot. Dealt with by Palace. Ayew touches it cleverly past Martinelli and then against Zinchenko and wins a throw in for Crystal Palace. It's Palace playing from my left to my right at the moment in their traditional blue and red strip. Arsenal in the all new pink third kit, going from right to left with Saliba into the feet of Saka and now Partey. Looking for Odegaard, clever touch around the corner from him to Saka. Foul, ref says play on, drilled into the box. Here's Xhaka, dealt with by Klein in the end. Good bit of last ditch defending. It's only as far as Ben White out on the right. He wins it in the air. Was there a push in his back from Zaha? Referee says no, and now Palace can counter with Zaha. Martinelli's back there trying to defend. It's Xhaka who gets the foot in the end. And Martinelli picks up the pieces. He's over on the right. Gives it to Odegaard, who's further to his right. Odegaard inside to Thomas Partey. Edouard's chasing him. Partey touches it away from him cleverly. Not once but twice, and then gives it out to Odegaard on the right. Getting further forward for Arsenal now. Right on the edge of the box, into the feet of Bukayo Saka. There's Gabriel, who's come very far forward, only about 30 yards from goal as he gives it to his defensive partner Zinchenko. And to the feet of Martinelli. Clear pull on the shirt from Anderson. Arsenal play on though. Into the feet of Jesus on the edge of the D. No foul by Decore there, and Palace can get it away with Klein. Dealt with by Gabriel. Ball forward. Ayew wants a free kick, nothing doing, but Palace are back in possession anyhow. In fact, I believe the referee has pulled that for the foul in the end. No, Palace are allowed to play on. Is Anderson into the feet of Schlupp. Now Gehi. Mitchell brings it to the halfway line. Jesus has gone with him. Gets into the feet of Zaha. Ben White once again wins the battle. Zaha clearly frustrated now. His Partey is tackled. It runs all the way back to Klein on the right. Bit of fortune about that one for Palace. That could have gone anywhere, and Martinelli was ready to pounce again. Ayew gives it to Gehi. Into the feet of Ayew again. It's been everywhere, the Palace number 9 today. He's linking up with Schlupp. In the left midfield position, the right winger. Anderson does well to beat the press of Martinelli there into the feet of Decore, who gives it to Klein, all the way back to Anderson now. Palace in their own half. And Anderson's tried to spray another of these balls out to Zaha. He's gone for a few, and this one has worked. In fact, it was touched down by Mitchell to Zaha. Really good touch from the fullback. And Zaha this time does win a free kick up against Ben White. It's in a fairly dangerous position for Palace, this one. About 40 yards from goal, just in line with the left edge of the penalty area. Not going to be one where anybody would favour shooting, I don't think, but certainly a promising position to whip a ball in. And that does look like the intention, as Anderson and Gehi line up on the edge of the penalty area of Arsenal. 5 minutes remain, plus stoppage time in this first half. Can Palace claw back an equaliser with Eze's free kick? Towards the penalty spot. Header is met by Gabriel for Arsenal. Palace keep it alive through Klein to Anderson in the corner. Tries a cross, away by Partey. Only as far as Ayew on the edge of the box. Gives it to Schlupp. He rolls it all the way back to Decore. Now Klein. Anderson on his right. Klein overlaps him, but Anderson cleverly finds the feet of Ayew instead. Back with Anderson. It's Mitchell. Now Gehi. Schlupp. Now Decore. Touches it away from Xhaka inside Arsenal's half. Back to Gehi again. This is better from Crystal Palace. They're keeping the ball and getting it into a dangerous position with Eze on the left. Jolts away from two. Zinchenko does really well to step up and intercept the pass as it went for Ayew on the right hand side of the box. Arsenal try and counter. Zaha brings down Jesus. No foul there. There is one by Odegaard. The referee says play on for Crystal Palace, and this time Ben White brings down Mitchell, and Crystal Palace have a free kick. Really exciting passage of play there. Both sides putting some big challenges in. Plenty that were allowed to go, of course, but not that by Ben White. Eze will take the free kick again. This looks a better delivery for Anderson at the back post. He heads it down. Brilliant save from Aaron Ramsdale! Aaron Ramsdale hasn't had too much to do today in the way of saves. More in terms of the ball at his feet, but he has done absolutely superbly to keep that one out. There's a ball clipped from Eze to the far post. Anderson nods it across the face of goal. And it's Edouard with the diving header from about 8 yards out. Does brilliantly to win it against Ben White. Looks like it's heading for the far corner. And Ramsdale springs down to get a firm right hand on it and keep it out. And Arsenal retain their lead here at Selhurst Park. Thanks to Aaron Ramsdale, the man who just a few moments ago nearly cost them it. This time he sprays it long. Again, Aaron Ramsdale. Much more confident ball as he picks out Saka on the right, but his touch isn't good enough to prevent Mitchell from getting a foot in. I'm just seeing now that Gareth Southgate is here, the England boss. Plenty of players for him to keep an eye on this evening. With a thought to his World Cup selection, of course, as the long ball goes Arsenal's way, and Aaron Ramsdale comes out and claims it on the edge of his box once again. And that will be one of the headaches for Gareth Southgate, won't it? Is the goalkeeper situation. He's got Aaron Ramsdale, Nick Pope, and of course his preferred number one, Jordan Pickford, all vying for a spot. Three very competent goalkeepers who bring you something unique in their own right. Palace try and play out. Guaita. Mitchell has it on the left. Zaha's touch isn't the best, and Ben White does really well to put the tackle in there. Saka makes sure the throw-in can't be taken quickly. Mitchell throws it back into his own half. Gehi gives it to Corey. Brings it into Arsenal's half once more and gives it into the feet of Eze, who's looking a threat now. Xhaka brings him down. Referee says nothing doing. I thought there was a clip of the heels there from Xhaka, who gives it right to Odegaard. Partey really cleverly clips the loose ball out to Ben White on the right to free up the pressure. And now here's Xhaka, touches it round Anderson, goes to ground. The referee not interested in that one either. In fact, Granit Xhaka is going to be the first player carded this season in the Premier League, and it's going to be for simulation. Or has he actually got away with this one? It looked to me like a clear dive from Granit Xhaka. And yeah, the yellow card has gone his way. I thought just for a moment the referee had actually shown the yellow to Anderson and bought it, but no, the replay shows a clear dive from Granit Xhaka. I'm not sure why he's done it, because he's touched it really cleverly around Joachim Anderson. Anderson's let him go, and Xhaka might have been through on goal there, but perhaps just an acknowledgement that he's not the fastest of players by any means. He's thrown himself to the ground, and Granit Xhaka becomes the first player in the book in this 22-23 Premier League season. Who could have guessed that? As Arsenal go long for... Palace go long, and it's cut out by the Arsenal man Saka. Doing defensive work right down in the right corner there. Xhaka will have to be careful now. Saliba with a really well-timed challenge there, but Palace have it back again. It's Gehi. Zaha gets it. We're into a minute of added time here now as Zaha jigs into the box and goes down. Referee not interested in any appeals there as Arsenal get it away with Xhaka. Exchanges a 1-2 with Zinchenko to find some space. Now into the feet of Martinelli inside the opposition half, and Martinelli goes all the way back to Gabriel. Xhaka's created an option on the left again, which has allowed Zinchenko to go forward.
used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Thanks to the goal from Gabriel Martinelli 20 minutes in. Headed goal from the young Brazilian, who already has one up on his countryman Gabriel Jesus, the new attacker, who's of course been grabbing all the headlines in pre-season for Arsenal. And I doubt it'll take him too long to match that goal from Martinelli. Arsenal already doing better than matching last season's opening day defeat against Brentford and last season's 3-0 defeat here at Selhurst Park. But haven't kept a clean sheet in 10 in the Premier League. So whether something will give is yet to be seen as Arsenal get us underway for this second half with the ball back to Ramsdale. Immediately launches out to the right with plenty of bodies sprinting forward. Saka is one of them and he touches it down inside the Palace box. He gets into the feet of Jesus, running towards the byline here, but Anderson is able to shield the ball all the way through to his goalkeeper Guaita. Arsenal looking to make a quick start in the second half here. And Ramsdale did brilliantly to pick out Saka on the right there. Jesus just couldn't quite get there ahead of Anderson. Guaita has the ball in his arms. Interestingly, the biggest ever defeat on the opening day of the Premier League was a 6-1 defeat suffered by Crystal Palace. And Arsenal have matched that with a 6-1 victory on the opening day. Not against Crystal Palace though, against Everton. Here go Palace down the right with Ayew. Into the corner against Zinchenko. Ayew floats it towards the penalty spot. It's beyond Saliba. Touchdown by Ben White. Some half-hearted appeals for a handball this time after the ones at the end of the first half against Gabriel. Here's Guaita. Ball runs through to the Palace defence. Anderson gives it out to Gehi. Now Mitchell, just shy of the halfway line, feeds it into the feet of Zaha, who's up against Ben White once again. It looks like Zaha's won this battle as he drifts inside, but he's forced to pass backwards to Anderson. Anderson trying to pick out a long ball once again, this time for Ayew. Chests it down against Zinchenko, who assisted the goal. Schlupp fakes a shot, has a go, just wide of the mark on his left foot. He's trying to bend one from about 20 yards just outside the box. Arguably, from an Arsenal perspective, found his space a little too easily there. I'm just seeing it again now as Ayew chests it down against Zinchenko. Fed it into the feet of Schlupp, and he's actually done well to get away from Partey with a fake shot. And the effort that he did take was actually going on target. It was blocked by Saliba. Corner now for Palace. Well claimed by Ramsdale. He sprints out of his 6-yard box and leaps above everybody there to get it into his arms. Now, can he pick somebody out this time for Arsenal? Kicks out of his arms looking for Martinelli on the left. Jesus is there as well. It's Jesus who does get it after the bounce. Into the feet of Xhaka, who is on a yellow card now following the dive from him towards the end of the first half. Martinelli gives it back to Zinchenko. Inside Arsenal's half. He's pressed well by Ayew. And then Xhaka touches the ball out of play, but the free kick goes Arsenal's way as Schlupp and Klein together are bundled into the Swiss midfielder. Back to his feet with the help of Klein, but hobbling. And no doubt that Xhaka was fouled on this occasion after a frankly quite sad attempt to buy a free kick from Anthony Taylor in the first half. But he's got one here in a decent position, and it's Odegaard and Martinelli standing over it for Arsenal. It's on the left-hand side of the pitch, so whether they'll want Martinelli's in-swing or Odegaard's out-swinger, we will see. I imagine they will prefer Martin Odegaard here. Yes, as Martinelli runs over the ball to the penalty spot. It's beyond Saliba, it's allowed to bounce. Saka keeps it alive at the back post, up against Mitchell. Crossed by Saka, nobody's there in an Arsenal shirt, and it's headed away by Anderson, only as far as Saliba. On the edge of the box still. Hooked away by Palace again. Ben White gets underneath it against Eze. Saliba chases back and gets a foot in. Zaha rolls it to Chick Decore, and they're going to go out to the right now, Palace, just to get away from this defensive stability that Arsenal have on the right, with Saka, White and Saliba all working together. And now they're back over this side, Crystal Palace, and Saka and White together have forced the host backwards once again. Gehi into the feet of Eze. Still inside Palace's half. He gives it all the way back to Anderson, who's on the edge of the D of Crystal Palace's box. He's the furthest outfielder back for Palace. He gives it to Nathaniel Klein on his right. Skips away from Xhaka and then tries to go long, unleashing Schlupp, who seems to be playing a slightly more advanced role in this second half. On the right hand side, cutting into that left foot. Here's Gehi as Palace have it down from a throw in. He gives it to Mitchell on the left. He advances it into Arsenal's half and gives it to Zaha. It's cut out by White though, and now Jesus gives it to Zinchenko. Zinchenko to Gabriel, furthest man back for Arsenal. And he plays it to Saliba, into the feet of Odegaard. Clever touch around the corner, or so it looks, but Saka can't get there before Mitchell. It's a turnover of possession. Edouard gives it back to Mitchell, who's spooned his pass into Arsenal territory there. And a tactical foul by Edouard to prevent the Arsenal counter-attack. Puts a foot in on Granit Xhaka, and you would have thought he'd go into the referee's book for that one, but Anthony Taylor quite happy to just give the free kick. Clear tactical foul there. Partey hits one into the feet of Saka early. Saka into the box on his left foot to Jesus. Touches it first time to Odegaard. He's on his right foot. Fancies a shot. Blocked in the end, and Arsenal will have another corner from this right-hand side. The source of their opening goal in this 22-23 season. One swung all the way to the back post by Saka, nodded back across goal by Zinchenko, and then eventually bundled in by Martinelli. Looked like a training ground routine, and surely somebody will pick up Zinchenko this time in a Crystal Palace shirt. And Arsenal have been a big threat from corners of late, though. Saka swings it to the penalty spot this time, headed away by Palace, only as far as Odegaard on the edge of the box. Tries to keep it alive. Palace have the ball again with Zaha. Has been fouled by Zinchenko, perhaps, but the referee lets Palace play on with Ayew into the opposition half. Still bringing it forward is Ayew. Gives it to Edouard out on his right. It's just behind him, which slows down the momentum a little bit. And it's enough for Ben White to get a foot in. Tries to touch it around Nathaniel Klein. You're certainly not fast enough for that one, Ben. Now here go Palace. Brilliant ball to the feet of Eze. Surely an equaliser. Ramsdale does well to stand up to it and make the save. What a ball that was to find Eze. Onside as well. Palace keep it alive. Zaha into the feet of Schlupp and gets it back. Tries to poke it through to Schlupp again. Odegaard's there to defend it. Saka clears it away into the opposition territory. Arsenal get away with one, arguably there. I didn't see who played that ball to Eze. I'm sure we'll get a replay of it because my word, what a pass it was to pick him out onside. I think it just caught Eze by surprise as much as the rest of us and didn't really have time to think about a finish. Ended up just driving it straight at Aaron Ramsdale, who, in fairness to him, was very fast off his line to close down the angle. Gehi for Palace, looking for a long one out to Ayew, and it's nowhere near it, or all out for a goal kick. Perhaps he should leave those ones to his defensive partner Joachim Andersen, who's been picking out the passes very well so far today. We're just going to see this one again. It's Zaha who's able to feed it through to Eze. What a ball that is from Wilfried Zaha. And Eze has tried to open up his body and wrap it with his right foot, but not enough on it to send it around Aaron Ramsdale, straight at the knees of the goalkeeper as he dropped. And now Arsenal have the ball on the edge of Palace's box with Martinelli and Jesus. Good tackle from Czech Decore from behind. No foul, says the referee, as Eze gives it out to Zaha on the left. Advancing into Arsenal's half once again, and Zaha's got space against Ben White. He's got away from him. He tries to cross on his left hand. Ben White's arm certainly blocked that one in a natural position, though. Good tackle from Saliba on Zaha. Brilliant challenge from the young Frenchman. He has had an impressive debut here in Arsenal colours. Arsenal colour being pink today, of course. The young man who was the French League player, a young player of the season last season during his loan spell at Marseille, helping them into Europe, into the Champions League, in fact, leading to some rumours that he might join Matteo Guendouzi and making the permanent switch from Arsenal to Marseille. But here he remains, and sure to be a crucial part of this side. It's already stamping his mark today. 53 minutes played. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1. As Anderson gets it forward from Palace's half. Runs through to Ramsdale, catches it. Gabriel rolls it back to Ramsdale. Now Saliba. Not just his defensive contributions today have been impressive, Saliba, but so composed on the ball as well. Keeps the ball moving for Arsenal, despite being pressed again and again. Speaking of pressure, here's Jesus trying to get away from Schlupp. Gives it back to Gabriel, who finds Zinchenko in space on the halfway line. Zinchenko into Palace territory and then turns back. Xhaka tries to feed one through to Martinelli. Looks a good ball. Good foot in from Nathaniel Klein, though, to stop it running through to Martinelli in the box. Xhaka's come so close to feeding his attackers in on a couple of occasions here with some really clever balls. Here's Odegaard on the edge of the box. Tried to touch it down to Jesus. He wasn't there. Palace get it away. Only as far as the head of Saliba to Gabriel. Inside Arsenal's half. Gabriel brings it over the halfway line into the feet of Xhaka. Now Partey and Saliba. Picks out Saka well on the right. He's going to want to run it. Mitchell goes inside. And he's won a free kick right on the edge of Crystal Palace's penalty area here. Saka faked taking it onto his right foot, darted inside with a burst of pace, played a 1-2, and as it came back to him, Eric Mitchell just went through the back of him. Seeing it again here. Mitchell might feel a little bit hard done by there. I think he might have got a touch on the ball, but probably went through the back of Saka first, and that's why Arsenal have a free kick here in what I would certainly describe as Martin Odegaard territory. Martinelli once again stands over the ball with him, but we've seen him whip free kicks into the corners from these sorts of positions all throughout his albeit young career. Captain of his country and now captain of his club at just 24 years old. The Arsenal number 8 will surely fancy a go at goal here despite all the bodies lining up on the edge of the box. He does have a go, it's just wide of the mark in the end. At the near post, Guaita sees it wide. It remains Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1, 56 minutes gone. Seeing it again, Odegaard shaped up as if he was going to whip it towards the edge of the box. Swung his shot at the near post instead. A bit too much power on it to divert it goalwards. Here you go. Palace down the left with Zaha, then Mitchell. Mitchell's pass is way beyond Gehi and Guaita has to sprint out of his goal to prevent the corner there. Long ball touchdown by Edouard. Dealt with by Arsenal. But only as far as Eze, who wins it in the air against Partey, and that's no mean feat. Xhaka. Looking for Jesus. Gehi had to put a touch on that one, he'll feel. But it means that it runs out for another Arsenal corner on this right hand side. Chance for another Bukayo Saka in swinger. And Crystal Palace have Mateta ready to come on. He who was on loan here at Selhurst Park last season but made a permanent signing. Arrived from the Bundesliga, of course. And I imagine it will be a like-for-like change with he coming on for Edouard. Saka's corner towards the penalty spot again. Punched away by Guaita. Bit of an awkward one. Falls for Zaha on the right. He launches it into Arsenal territory just to avert the danger. No Palace players on the end of that one. And nobody on the end of that ball from Ramsdale either. Way over Saka's head and out of play from the new Arsenal number 1 who holds his glove up in apology. Confirmation of the Crystal Palace change then. It is going to be Odsonne Edouard off on 57 minutes and Jean-Philippe Mateta replacing him. Hasn't been a bad shift from Edouard by any means. He's put his body about and made things awkward for Arsenal, particularly when they've tried to play out from the back. Constantly pressing, but just hasn't quite done enough to... well, hasn't done enough to trouble Saliba at all, in truth. Gabriel has perhaps arguably slipped up a couple of times, but the young Frenchman extremely composed on his competitive Arsenal debut. Palace have a throw-in down their left. Mitchell will take just short of the halfway line. Throws it to Decore and gets it back. Another player having a fairly impressive debut is Decore. He's made some big challenges in that midfield to win the ball back for Palace and relieve some pressure. Arsenal look to get it to Jesus down the right. He's done really well to nip in front of Gehi there. Can he pick out Odegaard? Gets it to Odegaard in the box. Odegaard has tried to cut it across. Jesus gets the shot in. Blocked, and it will be a corner for Arsenal surely. How Jesus has created a chance there I do not know. Gehi had so much time to deal with the ball as he ran towards his own goal. He's focused on holding Jesus off, and Jesus is just so nimbly nipped around the defender. Feeds it into the feet of Martin Odegaard, who's tried to cut it one more for Gabriel Martinelli when he perhaps might have had a go at goal himself. Man who was brought in to replace Mesut Ozil here at Arsenal. A very Ozil-esque piece of selflessness where he perhaps should have had a go himself. As it turns out, Jesus' shot on the follow-up was offside, so rather than a Arsenal corner, it was a Palace free kick. And as Palace came down their left-hand side, Ben White has got an absolute armful of Wilfried Zaha to prevent him getting on the end of that ball, and Ben White has gone into the referee's book. So 2 yellows for Arsenal now. Granit Xhaka and Ben White. Good Palace with Gehi into Arsenal's half. Into the feet of Mateta for his first touch, and he gives it back to the captain. Anderson. Klein. Klein exchanges the 1-2 with Ayew. Just on the halfway line now is Decore. Pops a nice ball around the corner for, I think this is Zaha who's come out to the right. Apologies, it was Schlupp, who of course is picking up positions now on the right hand side. struggling at times to make sense of the Crystal Palace setup. It seems like Decore is playing on his own at the base of a midfield, and then Eze, Ayew and Schlupp all seem to be rotating duties between attacking and defending, none of which are too comfortable in doing so. Palace's corner is nodded down at the back post, against the post. Free kick goes Arsenal's way though. So there was a coming together at the near post there for the ball. It was a similar routine from Palace to the one that Arsenal actually scored from, as the ball was headed back across the face of goal. Yeah, corner swung all the way out to Jacob Anderson. It was an awkward one for Arsenal to deal with after Zinchenko nodded it back into trouble. And in the end, looks as though it's a free kick for Jordan Ayew running into Gabriel Magalhaes as he tried to clear the ball there. Arsenal had the free kick taken. Zinchenko on the halfway line to Partey. Good ball out to Saka. Now Ben White gets to the edge of the box and now gives it to Saka on his right, who's inside the box. Saka crosses underneath Jesus. Clearances to Eze. Long ball by Palace. Saliba's on the end of it. Gives it to Gabriel next to him, who's the furthest outfielder back for Arsenal. Saliba gets it again. Exchanging passes are these defenders against the Crystal Palace press, and eventually Gabriel goes for a long ball out to Saka. Mitchell looked like he was going to meet it, but missed it. But Saka's pass missed its target, Martin Odegaard, so Palace can get away once again. With Mitchell to Anderson inside his own half. Looks long for Ayew, but Ramsdale, is quick off his line to claim that one on the edge of his box. 63 minutes gone here. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1 at Selhurst Park. Ramsdale gave it to Gabriel and got it back. He looks long for Saka. Not that long, mind you. It's inside Arsenal's half. And Mitchell in the end judged to have fouled Bukayo Saka. Sorry, it's Nathaniel Klein who actually seems to have been given the yellow card. How he's ended up in that position over on the left, I do not know. But he is the first Palace player in the book this season. 3 yellows through this game so far, the other 2 going Arsenal's way with Granit Xhaka and Ben White. There was actually a separate challenge that the yellow card was given for as Klein went through the back of Martinelli there. Ramsdale's the ball in his hands, drops it. And looks long, he cuts it out. Anderson. Now Klein. Bounces into the feet of Ayew here is furious that Schlupp didn't then use him on the 1-2. Schlupp goes all the way back instead, and Anderson gives it back to Guaita. The feet of Decore, gives it back. Decore really is the only Palace player for acres at the base of this midfield. Really interesting setup from them. Mitchell tried to advance up the line for Zaha. Saka cut it out at the expense of a Crystal Palace throw-in. Mitchell's throw is touched down by Mateta and given back to him. Decore tries to spray one out to Ayew. Doesn't get there, but Schlupp does on the follow-up. Zinchenko's passes straight into the feet of Decore. Now Eze gives it to his right for Klein to advance on the halfway line. Ayew crosses against Zinchenko, but he gets it back. Schlupp into the feet of Decore. Schlupp went down, claiming that Xhaka had held him off. He's waved to get up by Anthony Taylor as Crystal Palace continue to attack. Cross comes in towards Mateta, dealt with well by Gabriel. Palace will come again with a shot from Schlupp. Blocked this time by Zinchenko and Partey doubling up. Cleared away by the Ukrainian. Up to the left with Mitchell. Palace maintaining a good spell of pressure here. Zaha gives it back to Anderson. Yeah, he gives it back out to Anderson again on the left. He's fizzed one into the feet of Zaha, who's done really well to control that on the touchline. And now here goes Mitchell, trying to get beyond Ben White. White rolls it into the feet of... tried to roll it to the feet of Partey. Eze cut it out. And now Saka's fighting back there. And Crystal Palace have a free kick. Looks a little bit of a soft one against Saka. They're maintaining some good pressure here. Palace are certainly not out of the game yet. And Arsenal will want to make sure they can get that second goal to just feel a bit of breathing space, but they can't pursue it too heavily because they know that Palace can certainly counter-attack. They've got some pace up front with Zaha. Ayew, Eze, some quick feet. Mateta, of course, can get himself on the end of a cross. And this free kick is going to be crossed in by Eze, out on the left. It's a deep one. Ramsdale comes out, claims it, catches it the second chance. It's Partey. Saliba. Fakes the pass to Gabriel and then uses that to burst away from Mateta. Jesus drops deep for the ball, gives it to Partey. Now Gabriel. Zinchenko. Good pressure from Palace once again, forces Arsenal all the way back to Ramsdale. Not such a bad thing though, as he's able to pick a ball out to Ben White, chests it down, but Eze's there on his touch. Palace regroup with Gehi. Changes the 1-2 with Anderson. Eze looks for a long ball, closed down by Partey. Palace keep it moving on the right. Goes all the way back to Anderson. Now Gehi again. Gives it out to Mitchell. Manages to get it round Saka to Zaha. Tried to backheel it to Mitchell as he peeled off to overlap him, but Ben White was alert to it. Anderson surely has fouled Gabriel Jesus there. The referee says no. And Palace play on. In possession. Klein. To Ayew. Ayew still running with the ball, comes inside. Into the feet of Mateta, or so he tried. Dealt with well by Partey, manages to make the clearance despite going to ground. And this time Arsenal do have a free kick as Granit Xhaka is bundled to the floor. 69 minutes gone here now, 21 remain. Despite the introduction of the 5 sub rule, reintroduction in the Premier League, the only change made so far is Mateta on for Edouard for Crystal Palace. Wonder perhaps whether Arsenal might want to give Kieran Tierney a run out. Here goes Bukayo Saka down the right. He's into the box. Shot at the near post, and the angle had just closed down for him. Behind for a goal kick. Really good ball from Odegaard to pick out Saka in behind Mitchell. In fact, my apologies, it's actually Ben White who's released Saka with the ball there. But he's been kept on his right foot by Mitchell all the way. Good recovery defending from the Palace man. Really closed down the angle for Saka, and in the end he felt forced to drill a shot at the near post with his right foot. Not his preference, of course, and it's high and wide in the end. Palace come out from their goal kick with Anderson. Looks long for Zaha. It's over the head of Ben White and drops for the Ivorian. Touches it well. Runs to the edge of the box. Ayew is cut out by Xhaka. Gabriel. Clears and it's touched down by Anderson on the halfway line. His ball is nodded ahead by Saliba. Good ball round the corner this for Zaha. Ramsdale will get there first for Arsenal. Danger averted once again for the Gunners, but 1-0 not looking the safest of scorelines at the minute. Palace have threatened on a couple of occasions. Long ball there for Jesus. It's underneath it against Anderson. Palace have possession once again. Guaita gives it to Gehi, the skipper. Back to the goalkeeper. Anderson into the feet of Decore. Gehi gives it to Mitchell. Goes up the line looking for Mateta. Saliba defends well again. Rolls it back to Ramsdale. Ramsdale into the feet of Partey, gives it to Saliba. Saliba picks out Odegaard. Now Partey, under pressure, gives it to Saliba again. Clever flick around the corner. Saliba waits to be pressed and then rolls it to Ramsdale. Mateta closed him down. Ramsdale going for Saka again. Mitchell wins it in the air. Not completely under control though. Manages to get it back to Guaita before Saka gets another touch on it. Eze winning it again in the air. This time against Xhaka. Zinchenko gets the second touch though. Forward. Now Palace can counter with Ayew. Managed to shrug off Zinchenko out a handful of his shirt. Ayew's cross to the back post. Zaha will get there and he'll keep it alive inside the box. Runs at Ben White. Shot blocked by White. Headed clearance by Saliba. Odegaard gets it out. Only as far as Schlupp. Rolls it back to Jacob Anderson. Now Klein. Palace keeping it in Arsenal's half here. The ball's been rolled out. There's a stoppage for something. Check Decore has gone to ground. He's pulled up. He's going to receive some treatment now. "17 minutes remain here. It's still just the one goal in it, which might surprise some considering that well, this is usually a fairly high scoring fixture in its own right, and the two sides between them scored 10 goals in their final pre-season games just 6 days ago. Crystal Palace hitting 4 past French League Montpellier, and Arsenal hit Spanish Sevilla for 6 at the Emirates. Display that would have filled their fans with confidence. Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus on the score sheet. Just one of the Brazilian Gabbies picking up a goal so far today though. Not the one that most would have had their money on. Martinelli with the low header. The only thing separating these two sides. That was 20 minutes in. Now we're into the final 20 minutes. Interesting that still just the one change out of a possible 10 made between the two sides. I wonder if Palace will consider a replacement for Cheick Decore, who is still receiving treatment. Been a solid debut from the midfield man, but it has come to an end with Milivojevic lacing up his boots now to replace Decore, who is back up to his feet. Looks like this is going to be not much more than a precaution. They can't make the change yet as Arsenal have to put the ball back out of play for Palace. There's a bit of confusion here on the touchline. Milivojevic is on the pitch. Decore finally now comes off. Fourth official still yet to hold any numbers up, but we can see the change. It's the seasoned veteran Luka Milivojevic on to replace Cheick Decore, the young debutant for Crystal Palace. And Palace have quite the record of winning penalties against Arsenal. Wilfried Zaha on his own has won 3 against the Gunners. And should that be the case again this evening, many you'd rather have on the pitch to step up than Milivojevic, that's for sure. Here go Palace with Gehi. Looks long for Ayew, touches it to Zaha. Now Gehi again. Rolls it to Anderson. Anderson decline. Eze's pulled out to the right now, with Ayew on the left. Goes back to Anderson. Inside their own box are the Palace defenders now. Gehi. Up to Mitchell, who's further forward on the left. Pressed by Saka though, forced back to his captain once again. Guaita gives to Gehi. Now Anderson. Looking long for Ayew, who's back out on the right. Defended against by Gabriel and Zinchenko together. It's the former who eventually gets it away. Odegaard, challenge well. Palace have it forward into the feet of Mateta, who hasn't seen too much of the ball just yet. Ayew's cross, looking for Mateta, he's bundled Gabriel to ground, and Arsenal have a free kick as it was about to drop for Zaha beyond the defender. Ayew has done well to pick a ball out there. Mateta just goes through the back of Gabriel. Partey clears it before the whistle goes. Ramsdale's goal kick. Or free kick, shall I say. All the way out on the left-hand side for a Palace throw-in. Klein ensures that Martinelli isn't on the end of it. Palace have a throw-in down the right once again. Mikel Arteta still yet to consider his options on the bench. Perhaps not so confident in the options that he's got. We know that he supposedly still wants to bring in a couple of new faces, but needs to get the outgoings moving first. Lucas Torreira rumoured to be on the way to Galatasaray's. Partey misses a challenge on Zaha. Saliba gets the seconds, but referee pulls it back for the initial slide by Partey. Much to the frustration of the Arsenal players, but it was quite a dangerous slide in there by Thomas Partey. Really reckless one. Zaha managed to ride the challenge. It's a free kick launched to the back of the box that Anderson tries to head back across the face of goal. Cleared away by Arsenal on the right, only for a Palace throw-in. So Arsenal's left, Palace's right. Partey into the feet of Odegaard, slips and loses the ball. Jesus fouled Milivojevic there, but Palace allowed to play on. They still had the ball. It's Anderson trying to pick out Zaha on the left. Ben White does well to deal with it. And the hosts have a throw-in. It's Anderson. Exchange of passes on the right now from Palace. Eze gets away from a couple of challenges into space. He's brought his central now, he's Schlupp. Seems to be operating on the left once again. Eze into the feet of Zaha, wants it back. Goes to Mateta instead on the edge of the box, and now Zaha again. Just outside the area. Jesus has come back to defend. Zaha's forced to roll it back to Anderson. Everybody inside Arsenal's half now. Pass around the corner there for Ayew. Flag stays down. He's forced into the corner by Martinelli and Zinchenko defending together. Ayew has to go all the way back to Gehi, albeit still inside Arsenal's half. Into the feet of Eze. Gives it back to his captain. Rolls it to Anderson. Backs against the wall stuff for the Gunners now with 10 minutes to go. Still only leading by a goal to nil here at Selhurst Park. Schlupp stands on the ball. Odegaard quite happy to stand him up. Mitchell cleared by Saliba only as far as Eze. Schlupp. Now Anderson gives a decline on his right, keeping the spell of pressure on Palace. Ayew with some good footwork. Leaves Martinelli behind, gets into the box, skips past Xhaka. Gabriel gets the challenge in the end as Ayew went down. Some appeals for a penalty not given by Anthony Taylor. Here's Zaha. Skips away from Ben White, who left a trailing leg. Fizzed across the face of goal, could have gone anywhere. will be kept in at the back post. Kept alive. Xhaka heads it away though. Palace maintaining this huge bout of pressure on Arsenal. You have to think something's got to give eventually. Here's Gehi. Pass was just short of him by Anderson. Odegaard pressed it. Gehi forced back to Anderson. Finally, the ball is back in Crystal Palace's half. Hasn't been here for all of 5 minutes. Gehi out to Eze. Now Zaha on the left. Palace come again to the edge of the box. Eze gets into the box, goes to ground. Referee says nothing doing. Pass play on Zaha, drives it towards Mateta. Dealt with by Xhaka, into the feet of Odegaard. Can he get it away? Pressed well again. Odegaard's clearance falls straight back to Crystal Palace once more. With Gehi. Schlupp gives it to Anderson. Anderson tries to pick out that long ball again to the left. This time it picks up Mitchell. Gets around Saka and puts the cross in, and that's going to go all the way out for a goal kick. And finally, Arsenal find some respite. And at this point, you think surely a change is on the way. Those Arsenal players are going to be so tired from chasing that ball for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Eze's having a word with Anthony Taylor. He wanted a penalty. As Saka went through the back of him on the edge of the box. And Arsenal are finally going to make some changes. 2 here ready to come on. It's Kieran Tierney making his return from injury. And Eddie Nketiah. And I believe it's going to be the 2 new boys from Manchester City that make way. Certainly Alexander Zinchenko going off for Kieran Tierney. Tierney gets a few minutes back in his natural left-back position. Solid debut from Zinchenko for the Gunners. He's been beaten a few times in the air down that left-hand side. But what's important is that he is the man credited with an assist for what still stands to be the winning goal in this game. His header converted by Gabriel Martinelli from the corner. And Eddie Nketiah, Arsenal's new number 14, does replace Gabriel Jesus. It's the end of the competitive debut for Jesus now. Nketiah, who looked unlikely that we would see him in an Arsenal shirt again. And now we do, having signed that new contract. Here go Palace with Milivojevic fizzing one nicely into the feet of Jordan Ayew. Trying to get away from Partey. Good tackle. And Nketiah with a clever first touch. Now he gets it again. And Nketiah linking things up well for Arsenal. He gives it to Tierney, who's getting his first feel for the ball. He rolls it to Xhaka. He goes all the way back to Gabriel. Xhaka again. Goes back to Ramsdale. Ramsdale pings one out to the left. Tierney wins in the air. Touchdown to Xhaka. Right. Saka drills one, and it's in the back of the net! Arsenal have their second goal, and that one will surely seal it. There's a lot of luck about it. Saka has drilled it across the face of goal. I don't think he was going for goal. I think he was trying to pick somebody out inside the box. Or just put enough on it that something might happen, and something has happened. It looks like Mark Gehi, the skipper, has turned this one in. Whether it will go down as a Saka goal or an own goal remains to be seen. We'll get a replay of the action now as Xhaka picked out Nketiah. Nketiah feeds it into the feet of Saka on the right. He takes it to an angle. Yeah, that's certainly going to go down as a Mark Gehi own goal, having seen it from a better angle. Saka takes it wider and wider, touches it round Mitchell on his left foot, drills across him with his right. Gehi tries to duck to get out of the way of it, and instead places his head perfectly into territory to nod that one into the back of the net. And Bukayo Saka creating what will surely be the goal that seals this one for the Gunners. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2, with 4.5 minutes of regular time left on the clock. Palace have made another change. It's Will Hughes has come on for Eze. And there's going to be another one, in fact. Ebiowe has come on for Jeffrey Schlupp as well. So double change for Crystal Palace, but of course they've used all three of their allocated opportunities to make a substitution, so 4 is the max they can make. Here's Nketiah for Arsenal. Hughes has given it away. Here's Saka. Has a go himself this time, and it's blocked well by Gehi at the near post. Arsenal have a corner. Been threatening again and again in these situations with Saka on the right. He's finding it far too easy to take it onto his right foot and have a go at goal. That one was certainly on target at the near post, if not for the block by Gehi. It just seems that Bukayo Saka has worked on that right foot. It's one of the pointed weak points in the young man's game. But hasn't been shy to use it this afternoon. Has caught the Palace defenders off guard a couple of times. He swings this corner in on his left, of course. It's claimed by Guaita. And Nketiah is doing all he can to make sure that this one doesn't get launched forward early on the counter-attack. Guaita still stuck with the ball in his arms. Rolls it to his captain Gehi. Anderson. Guaita. Goes long for Mateta, who chests it down just ahead of the halfway line. Ayew gives it all the way back to Gehi. Ebiowe loses out to Martinelli. Wins Palace to throw in though. Arsenal fans in good voice here now. They are surely watching a opening day victory here, which has been few and far between for the Gunners in truth of recent seasons. And they will certainly take this one before their short journey back across London later this evening. Plenty of the home fans already pouring towards the exits at this point. 2 minutes remain, their side are 2-0 down here at home. Here's Ayew to Milivojevic. Hughes gets it back. Does Milivojevic and then sprays it to Gehi on the halfway line. Mitchell advances it down the left. Ben White once again able to pop a foot in on Zaha. Out on the right now for Palace. So Ebiowe gets away from a couple of challenges. Tierney gets a foot on it but falls back to the young attacker. And Arsenal now have a free kick. I think Ebiowe is adjudged to have handled the ball there. It's actually a drop ball there. I think it was a flat football that was being played with. It's Klein. Defeated Milivojevic. Tries a cross. Dealt with by Gabriel and then eventually hooked clear by Xhaka. Only as far as Anderson. And Nketiah has done brilliantly to get there first. And has he kept it in play? Don't think he quite has in front of the dugouts there. Anderson gets one out to Zaha. It's Milivojevic. Anderson. Ebiowe tries to run past Tierney. Good defending from the Scotsman, puts it out for a throw in. 3 minutes have been added on here. Stoppage time. The Palace believe that they can still claw something back from this one, as they once again go backwards with the ball to Anderson. He's shown a really impressive range of long passes here today, though, as he picks up Mateta's head, nods it onto Zaha, into the corner. Ben White and Saka together will stand him up. He goes back to Tarek Mitchell here. Gehi to Zaha again. Keeping the ball well in the second half, Crystal Palace, much better than they did in the first, but haven't done too much with it. Hughes tries to drill a cross in. Ben White blocks the first one. Second one comes in, defended well at the back post by Tierney. Martinelli and Nketiah together will chase Anderson here as Palace keep it alive. Rabiot away. Good ball to find Milivojevic. Anderson. His passes behind Gehi, and that will release some pressure for Arsenal as the ball is finally back in Crystal Palace territory again. 90 seconds remain of stoppage time here. Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2 at Selhurst Park, live here on Flash Score. As Ben White puts a long ball out. Arsenal are going to make another change now. Martin Odegaard hands over the captain's armband to Granit Xhaka, which might still be a sore point for some Arsenal fans, given the manner in which Xhaka lost that armband himself. And on for Odegaard will come the young midfielder Sambi Lokonga. Had a mixed bag in his opening season for the Gunners, but of course still only 21 years of age. A young man who was influential in Anderlecht winning the Super League in the season before he arrived here in North London. Still high hopes on him around Arsenal. Just have to see if he can make good on his potential this season. Of course, still rumours that Arsenal will reinforce in the midfield. Anderson out to Klein on the right.